Hello and welcome to Simplify TV. I'm David McBee. Our guest today is David Foreman, Chief Operating Officer at Clarity Creative Group. David's journey into the world of computer code began in middle school, where he embraced his inner nerd and found his true calling. During the early days of the internet, he took to constructing websites, and as the digital landscape grew, so did David's expertise and passion for invention. Deciding to forge his own path, he channeled his talents into creating unique websites with a data-driven model. This innovative endeavor led to the establishment of Clarity Creative Group, a platform for David's unique blend of brand building creativity. David, welcome to Simplify TV.
Thanks so much for having me.
I understand that you and I have more than just our first names in common. We both share a passion for paid media. I actually started my digital career in the early 2000s selling Google AdWords and then transitioned to targeted display ads a decade ago. And so I'm a fan of paid search and paid display, but in a world where social media is what everyone is talking about, do you believe there's still a place for paid media?
Oh, absolutely. I believe that it's pretty much for almost all businesses should have a budget for some sort of paid in their flow. It is a in the data driven model. I would say it's a lot of times your kind of lower funnel people that could be there in the search intent that they're already looking for probably your product or service, and you could show up easily for that. So I think it's a win win.
And you're talking about specifically paid search as in Google AdWords, right?
Google Ads. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Google Ads or Microsoft Bing Ads.
So, what is the key to running a successful paid digital advertising campaign?
Oh, it's really easy. Very simple. Very simple. We got 10 minutes, so let's go. But I mean overall it's buyer intent keywords, right? And leaning a little bit on what, the paid search platforms do well, which is, finding you ideal clients, but overall find making sure you're showing up for the keywords that your buyers would be looking for, right? So if you're a marketing company and you build websites for chiropractors, maybe, chiropractor websites, right, is the keyword. And at that point, does your ad talk about that? Do you have a landing page that talks about that? And can you make sure that you come across as an expert? Not only do you show that to a client when they click on it, but Google's also taking in that information too and serving your ad based on that, right? So they have like an ad quality score that they give you, and some of it's based on that information that you have on your landing page. So if you don't ever talk about chiropractors and on your website page, there's a little bit of, like, are you the right person to show that? So doing a few things like that really just helps you get the visibility that you're looking for, maybe for your brand or possibly selling for somebody else.
What are some of the new and upcoming interesting technology updates that are going on with Google AdWords?
So Google AdWords, they, there's well, what's interesting is I would say for the world of AI, they've been in AI for a while now, and many years ago, they are very like consumer or conversion driven models that they've kind of put out there. So that's been really nice to lean on, right? So their AI model has been good. They've recently dabbled in these dynamic ads that are a little bit lacking of the data. So I would say that those are still probably for people to probably more kind of test and do. So there's those, and then there's these performance max. So Google, this is like their super AI smart. You kind of put some information in there and let. Sometimes you'll give some images, maybe some videos. Google can sometimes create a video for you with some images, but you're creating like a full marketing set that you're going to give to Google, and you're going to say, Google, I trust in you to find a lot. I've heard good and I've heard horrible. So, and in all things, I think, it doesn't hurt to try. I have yet to find it really successful. I've ran them kind of, I'll run them while running other ads to see what works and what doesn't. They do say that you need to pause your other ads, because if not, then you're just competing with yourself. But it allows you to not only show up in search, but show up in Gmail ads, show up on display ads, and you can put, in YouTube ads. It kind of allows you to easily go out there and have, like, I'd say like 4 or 5 campaigns that you really only have to build once. So it's efficient. Is it probably a good start? Yeah. Is it maybe, if you really want to get into, really lowering your cost per conversion and playing around with some of that stuff, it's probably it's not fully there yet, and wouldn't say it's replacing, an expert fully in creating ads.
One of my closest friends is a paid search expert, if you will, and he's been complaining to me that Google is leaning so heavily on their AI that they're actually taking away some of the controls that he was used to, like the exact match keyword phrase, and things like that. What are your thoughts on that?
I dislike it to no end. It feels like a game of whack-a-mole. So yeah, so with that, we're losing a little bit of some of the things that we want to show up for, right? And when they feel like they can overthink what we're doing, I don't love it. However, it just means that I have to be a little bit more kind of on top of what's going on. So I have to look at what search terms are actually showing up, and being a little bit more creative maybe in some of the keywords that I'm putting in there. I was a big phrase match type of guy. I always like I'll figure out the word in the middle, and then the before and after I'll let Google kind of figure out, and I'll put like some negatives in there depending on it. And so for me, I always enjoyed kind of playing around with it that way. But I could also see where you start getting into phrase matches, still start showing up your competitors' names that you don't love. It's not fun. But yeah, I just think sometimes you have to stay on top of Google, right? They mean well sometimes in what they're doing, but you just have to, just because they say it's supposed to make your life easier doesn't mean it's going to.
Definitely not. What advice do you have for other paid search managers out there who are watching our interview today?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we kind of talked about it is that, when it comes to like Google Ads or any of the platforms, is to test so many different things: test headlines, test ads, test images, test different call outs and other things, play around with the keywords, pause things, add things. Google also has the abilities to do ad variations and A/B testing, which is helpful because it's on within Google Ads. Used to previously kind of have to put together a few different things to really get a good A/B test going, and so they add a little bit of like ad variations that you can do, and they have like, I'd say probably like maybe half a dozen to a dozen things that you can kind of switch out, and so maybe it's a different landing page, maybe it's a different headlines or different things that can really get your that you could change that could hurt or possibly help in what you're doing. So I would say lean on some of those things that do exist out there, that can hopefully make you do better without having to start over from scratch.
Well, I think that's a lot of great advice that you just shoveled our way in less than 9 minutes. So congrats on that. Do you have a favorite book or podcast that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I would say every week, and I know it's because it came in my Spotify yearly reminder, that I listen to a great one called Marketing O'Clock. It comes out every Friday, and it's another marketing agency up in Buffalo, and they usually go through paid, social, and SEO, and they usually talk about the headlines. They talk about a lot of times what's happening on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. But it's just so helpful because, there's so much going on, and they can really like kind of go into what the topics that are trending and what's happening, the latest news, because there's just so much going on out there. Instead of having to read 100 articles, I try to at least give myself the hour that podcast is a week, just kind of at least take in, yeah, I did hear about that. I know about that. Okay, do I need to, now view the tweet versus having to doom scroll on Twitter all day to try to see what's happening.
Well, David, thank you very much for being my guest today on Simplify TV.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you guys for watching. Simplify TV is sponsored by Simplify, helping you to maximize relevance and multiply results with our industry-leading media buying and software solutions. For more information, visit simply.fi. Thanks for joining us today. I'm David McBee. Be awesome, and we'll see you next time.